Travis, look, with that shadow like it is, it looks like I'm about to drop like a smooth jazz or an R&B album.
I think you should.
Like
No.
Scooby Doo Bop, Scooby Doo Bop, 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 bop. No,
Let's be honest. Jazz is annoying. That's just
well, and you know what's even more annoying is my singing voice. That is, you know, back in the day they would say make a joyful noise before the Lord, and I don't know if my singing ever was that.
Yeah. Well, you know, sometimes in my prayer time, God tells me to be quiet, boy.
Yeah, I am happy. I'm pretty sure. You know, I know. I never got up because, you know, they do like Sunday sing a lot of times at church.
Yeah.
You know, they do the Sunday sing,
Yeah.
and people would just volunteer to sing a special.
Yeah.
And, you know, and God bless them. There's some of those folks that just had no business getting up there and sing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
None.
Yes.
Zero, zilch.
Amen.
Like they did not like.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Travis, now you've heard me sing. It's not good.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm with you. I mean,
yeah, it's not good.
They don't let me look. I'm the pastor of the church, and they don't let me in the choir. Okay,
right? Yeah, no, for good reason. Now, as my friend, if I was going to get up and I legit thought that I was a good singer, like I'm going to sing a special in church, not like American Idol, nothing like that, but like I was like, I'm going to sing a special in church, and it's really good. Yeah. I've been working on this knockoff of the Michael W. Smith song. Yeah, I'm gonna hit the people with it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
lay it on them. Lay it on them.
I'm like,
friends are friends forever.
It's gonna be so good. Matter of fact, Travis, I'm gonna come to your church. I'm gonna do it.
Okay, come on. Yeah.
Would you have said Clint? would you, or would you just let it happen?
I would have. No, I would have probably figured out some way to say, well, buddy, why don't we? How about some kind of spoken word?
You would have tried. You wouldn't have came out and crushed my dreams. You would have just redirected.
How about you work on a monologue? Because you were a good actor, so let's work on a monologue. You know,
because I was listening to Taylor Swift tell Kylie Kelsey, or talking about Kylie Kelsey, how like she'll tell Jason, like, can we just not do that right now?
Yeah.
Should we not do that right now? And I'm thinking, what a Swiftie would like?
Oh,
a podcast
all with the millions of Swifties.
All the millions of Swifties. A podcast hosted by a 50-year-old and a soon-to-be 50-year-old. I'm the young one. I'm the youth, bringing in the youth demographic. That's what I'm here for. But the Swifties, if they watch this podcast, like, I like that. I like those two middle-aged crusty dudes.
Good-looking fellas.
Good-looking, just handsome, rugged good looks. Yeah. Anyway, so we would have that, and then, they would like it. They would like it.
They would. They'd like it.
And then they would share it with the other Swifties. We'd blow up amongst the Swifties.
Because that's what Swifties do. They share.
Blow up.
Sharing is caring.
True story. Yesterday, I went into jiu-jitsu, and I heard a Taylor Swift song, and I made them change it to the Wu-Tang Clan.
Good. That's what you should.
Yeah, I'm like, we're not doing that. I'm teaching that.
But those people that like that music should like, or if they don't like it. If they would prefer Wu-Tang.
No, I'm not saying a bad word about Taylor Swift. I don't want to lose the Swiftie demographic that we just won.
That's right.
Just like, shared, and subscribe. What I'm saying is it's good music, but probably not good to do jiu-jitsu.
That's right. Yeah.
You're better served laying the
That makes sense. Yeah. So, like, share, subscribe, all you Swifties out there, and non-Swifties, whatever. And you know what? We're not going to play any Swiftie music because that would cost us too much.
Yeah. Instead, Travis's friend lets us use his music for free. Thanks, Sean
That's
Michelle.
Right. So, Sean Michelle, rock us out, buddy.
1, 2, 3, 4. You ever seen a lame man walk? Ever heard a dumb man talk? Never seen a blind man see? I promise you can't see. Ever seen a cancer dead? Ever seen all the poor get fed? Ever seen a prisoner set free? I promise you changes me. My Lord changes Can you hear me now? Church, can you hear me now? Ever seen a broken heart made whole? orphan find a home. Ever seen the weak find the strength? I promise you I'll change his name. Ever seen the sick get healed? Ever seen a mystery revealed? Ever seen a death man raised? I promise you I'll change his name. A broken heart made whole. Ever seen an orphan find a home? Ever seen the weak find the strength? I promise you a change.
What's up, everybody? It's time for the Hawg Slop podcast. I'm your boy, Bigger T, joined as always by my man, Big C, and we're visiting him from a detention center in Victoria, Texas.
Yeah, apparently. I'm in county. It's been a while, and I keep trying to adjust this ring light to where like it'll look better. I normally use I normally use another computer. When we got on here, and my IT department's been slacking. Like Travis could hear me, I couldn't hear anything.
We're just gonna have to docker pay.
So we're gonna have to docker pay. So $0 to $0 and maybe another sandwich. See how that works out for me.
That's right, yeah.
But so having to use the backup ghetto computer.
Hey, but that's all right, man.
So it looks like instead of a virtual background where everything blends in nice, I'm in county.
Yeah, that's all right. No big deal.
So
it works for us.
How was your weekend, my friend?
Man, it was good. It was a good weekend. Just did a little hanging out. Went got an extra workout in on Saturday. That was nice. Got some time on the old treadmill and bike, and so that was good for me. And then church and all that good stuff. How about you?
No, good. But I was thinking about you. So you brought up time on a treadmill as part of a good time, and that sounds like an awful time to me.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there thinking. So like I come in and do adults jiu-jitsu sometimes. We have a young lady named Mia that teaches the kids class. Sweet young lady, but she does this thing called 5 minutes of fun with them at the end of class. And it's pretty much just a horrible, horrible workout. It's like GPP, which is general physical preparation. Yeah. I'll do that a lot for cardio, like 30 seconds of jumping jacks and shuffle steps and mountain climbers and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But I'll do that. But she's basically making them do that for 5 minutes, calling it 5 minutes of fun. I said, Mia, my idea of fun and your idea of fun is two different.
That's right.
Two totally different things.
Yeah.
He said, well, when because I wrestled, we'd call it something else. But for kids, I can't say 5 minutes of hell.
Yeah.
So I changed the 5 minutes of fun. I said, I see what you did there. So that's pretty cool. Man, Saturday night, there was a WWE. They bought AAA, which is a promotion down in Mexico, using it, to kind of grow that market down there. They're sending guys down there. This week, they had their show out of Monterrey, Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I like it because it's the same time zone I'm in. So, I ain't got to watch it like at 11 o'clock at night or something like that. So it's that. But they did El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano, mask versus mask. The event's called Noche del Grandes or something like that. I'm butchering it. I speak hillbilly, not Spanish.
Yeah.
So they, Travis, I'm gonna tell you, I've been watching wrestling a long time. Mm-hmm. I've wrestled a lot of matches. I've watched a lot of matches.
Yeah.
I've been in charge of writing stories for independent promotions, and I've enjoyed. It might be one of the top 2 or 3 wrestling matches I've ever seen.
Wow.
I would have to go back. I mean, this is legit.
You pulled the okie doke on me there, because the way you were setting it up, I thought you were going to say it was one of the worst I've ever seen.
No, you
went total opposite on me. So what made it so great?
Okay, this is something they started off as. It started off as a joke. Chad Gable, who I don't know his real name, is Chad Gable, former Olympic thing. He was having a thing where he couldn't beat luchadors. So he goes and meets this guy, and he ends up coming out with this mask called El Grande. El Grande. I always want to say Mexicano because that Mexican restaurant we liked in Conway.
Yeah.
El Mexicano, so good. Anyway, so, but we wanted to, but what happened was he started playing this gimmick, and it was a goof. It was a thing. Fast forward a few months later, he gets his shoulder hurt and has surgery out for 9 months. So there's this German wrestler, real name Marcel Bethal, I believe. His ring name in WWE is Ludwig Kaiser. They're not doing much with him. He's really, really good. Mm-hmm. So he just puts on the mask, and they start, doing it. They don't announce that they're doing it, but they just do it. And in the meantime, they buy this promotion down in Mexico. So he goes down there, and he doesn't just learn the language. He ingratiates. He goes down there and learns the culture.
Yeah.
Learns to speak like their dialect. Really, went down there, went amongst the fans. Yeah. Says, look, I may not be born Mexican, but I'm a Mexican now. I mean, really goes down there. And so meantime, Chad Gable comes back. They start feuding. So they basically look, they're going to be one. So it's mask versus mask.
Mm-hmm.
And and I've never been a big believer in a lot of blood in matches or anything like that, but sometimes it just makes sense. Everything about it was done well. The story was, like I said, I would have to honestly go back to the first Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
To see a match that good.
Wow.
I mean,
that's impressive.
Maybe I would say that maybe the best Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels match may have been that Hell in a Cell that we watched, the very first Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
To me, this match was on that level.
Wow.
And here's the thing. Y'all can go watch it for free on WWE's YouTube page. Because that's where they streamed the event. I stayed up late because I wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
But we all know who was going to win because for some reason, Ludwig Kaiser is he's like Hulk Hogan in the 80s or Stone Cold in the 90s in Mexico.
Oh, really?
I mean, he is.
So they had to put him over. Yeah.
He is that hot. And, well, who's not very hot though, Travis?
Well, right now, Razorback Ball Sports.
Athletics.
That's
Razorback
right.
Athletics. Tracks out of season.
Let's talk about the ladies first. It was heartbreaking, Clint. I don't know what it is. I just like it. I can sit and watch the guys get beat. I don't like it, but I won't turn it off. That UCLA game, I just couldn't. Man, it was so.
Well, I was in bed by the time Nebraska beat us in extras. But I turned it over. I was watching something else. I turned it over, and it was the first inning, and it was 9-0.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? At least we didn't have our hearts ripped out. Yeah. I would rather lose it like that than lose like I lost to Nebraska.
But you got to give them props, man. Those girls fought hard. Courtney Doffel coached hard. And once again, they were doing something they've never done. First time ever to Oklahoma City, program history. Hopefully that's going to be something they build on, that they take that momentum and, get some players in, some transfers, some recruits, all that kind of stuff.
Well, Travis, like what I was just talking about in wrestling, you had to start that foundation for that story somewhere. Yeah. And that foundation is being built. And this isn't the end of that chapter for Arkansas. No. They did something that's never been done in Fayetteville. And it's hard to do something that's never been done in Razorback sports history, but they've done it. And congratulations to them ladies. And heck of a season. And we look forward to next year. And I think it's as long as Courtney Doffel's there, I think we're going to keep seeing
That's right.
it get better and better.
She's
I
a great
don't
coach,
see it going backwards.
Now, it was something new for the ladies. For the guys, it seemed like it's the same old story, Clint.
Well, the thing is, Travis, me and you usually get another 2 to 3 weeks of content from the guys' baseball team. We usually either get to the Super Regionals and flame out, or we get to the World Series and flame out.
Yeah.
And this time we flamed out in the regional round. Yeah. You know, Trav, a lot of people, yourself included, were a little salty about not being a host. And I'm like, and I thought, no, this is where we are. And unfortunately, this baseball team was what I said it was all year long. They were okay.
Yeah.
They were okay. They were a top 25 team, a top 20 team. But this just was not a team. You know, you got to wonder, you know, some of these guys, how many of them would seriously start for other SEC schools? And it just didn't, I mean.
Well, and I think, you know, here's the deal, Clint. I think there's a lot of talent up and down this roster.
Yeah, it just never, I always said it never gelled. But.
And that's why I was always hopeful, because I thought, I held out hope that it was going to gel.
Yeah.
I'm an optimist. That's what I thought. But as Van Horn talked about in the press conference after the game, we didn't have starting pitching. Okay. Geichel ended up not being a starter. He's better out of the bullpen. I mean, toward the end of the season, he had some good starts, but his future is going to be as a long reliever. Okay. Dietz is the only starter of the bunch, right?
No, you didn't have a Hagen Smith. You didn't have a Zach Root. You didn't have
you didn't have a second.
You have Gage Wood. You didn't have any.
You didn't have none of them. And you didn't have anybody that stepped up and sort of took that role. Everybody, you know, and they tried, but it just didn't happen. Also, the other problem is Clint, we had a lot of guys that were playing out of position. Okay.
Yeah, you know, and we were talking a little bit about this before we went on, and of course I brought up Camden Kozel. Camden, you know, he second base at Vanderbilt, and then he played first here, so he's a first baseman, second baseman, definitely on the left side of the infield, or right side, I guess.
Yeah,
depending on where you're standing.
Well, you go into the season thinking you got the number one shortstop in the country, preseason, all freshman SEC shortstop in Brumbaugh. So you're hopeful that he's going to carry on, okay? But he starts hitting 140. And then his struggles at the plate, start causing him to struggle in the field, and his fielding percentage goes down. So you had to make a move, right? And so he goes to the bench. And that's when you have Cam out of position. But Cam wasn't the only one out of position.
Well, and I thought Cam did a great job.
He did. Really, he was good. But there were some balls, Clint, that Camden just, like a Brumbaugh probably would have got to, that Camden didn't, just because he was more of a natural shortstop. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, just because that's just, you know, or Aloy would have got to last year. Of course, that's hard to say. Aloy was Golden Spikes, so I'm that's a weird, you know, comparison.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean. But someone who's been a shortstop on a regular basis, you know, Camden did play shortstop in high school. It wasn't like it was his first time playing it, but still. But it wasn't just him. You had Rudenbar playing first a lot. He's a catcher. He played outfield. He played right field. He played catcher. I mean, he played first base. Played very little at catcher. Of course, you're not going to have him at catcher because you got a Golden Spikes nominee at catcher, right? Here's another one that people, you know, if you don't know the history of him, you don't know this. But Micah New was not a stud outfielder at his last school, Clint.
Yeah, I remember before the season,
he was an infielder, and he was a terrible infielder at his last school. He was one of the worst in his conference. That's why at the Cape they moved him to outfield, because he was a good hitter and he was athletic. Okay. So they moved him to outfield there, and he did pretty good in the outfield. So that's why they brought him in, put him in the outfield. He didn't do like but he made more mistakes than most of any of our other outfielders, really. Reese Robinette did a good job at first. He's a natural first baseman. I think he had like one error all year, something like that. Or Reese, is it Reed or Reese?
Reese Robinette.
Reese, anyway, sorry. But here's the thing, Clint, and Van Horn brought this up, and this is something that's been talked about. Do you realize that none of the teams that made it to Omaha last year have made it past the regionals?
No, and you had brought that up, and it's been out there, and Trav, there's been some theories on why that is.
There's some very good theories on why that is.
So, Trav, won't you lay yours on me?
Well, the biggest one is the portal opened Monday, Clint. And those teams that are getting ready for super regionals right now, it's kind of hard to be planning for a super regional and to be recruiting players, especially when in baseball you don't have as big of a staff that does your recruiting. As for baseball, we need Hobbs and Thompson and Van Horn working on those players we're trying to get in and evaluating those players that are in the transfer portal. Or in all those recruits. They wasn't able to do that last year because they were getting ready to go to Omaha. Okay. Look at LSU, the national champion. They lost, and we lost a lot of players last year because of the draft and different things. LSU lost even more. Where were they at during the regionals, Clint?
Oh, they were at home.
They were sitting at home. The national champions. Okay. So that because of the calendar and because the NCAA is stupid as usual, it just makes it difficult for these teams to work on. Now this year, hopefully, because we lost Van Horn, Hobbs, Thompson, they're able to work on those portal guys right now. They're able to work on those junior college guys. And I hope they go to junior college and get some guys, because that's what Kansas did. That's what Little Rock has done. Okay, we'll talk about that a little later. But so anyway, I think that's the big thing. I think that's what a lot of people are saying is a lot of the reason why.
No, and you make a very good point. I do think there was a lot of talent on this team. I think they had top 8 talent. If you got top 8 talent, you got a chance to win it all. For whatever reason, I know probably in Arkansas Sports Radio there is fire Nate Thompson, fire Hobbs.
Oh, I've even seen
some people
fire Van Horn, yeah.
Which, okay, how long do you think Van Horn's going to be unemployed if he doesn't want to,
Idiots.
Yeah, so you're not going to, dude, he has like a Bill Walsh coaching tree, like an Andy Reid coaching tree, Sean McVay. Come on. Yeah. I get it. We all want to win a natty. We all want to see them be in the World Series every year.
Yeah.
They had a down year. It happens. I have no doubt that this team will be back in a full force next year. You got to feel a lot of these guys are gone. Yeah. I think, unfortunately, we saw our boy Camden Coles on the Razorback uniform for the last time.
For sure. Yeah.
You definitely know Ryder Helfer is going to go in like top 5 or 6 picks.
Yeah. Yeah. Helfrich and Dietz are both projected to go first round.
Yeah. So, Trav, what are you focusing on in the portal if you're Dave Van Horn? What is your
starting pitching? To me, you got to get 3 starting pitchers, Clint. You got to get 3. You got to get your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting pitchers. You got to find them because they're not on this team. We don't have anybody right now that I would say that's a future starting pitcher. And I don't think
I would say
Van Horn
Carson
thinks
Wiggins if he's healthy and he can play.
we don't Clint. He's gone.
Yeah,
He's gone. He would have played this year if he was going to stay. I think. Van Horn was upset. His doctor said he could play, and rumor has it that his family or somebody else is the ones that stopped him.
yeah.
I think he's a goner. I don't think he's on this team next year.
Could be right.
So I may be wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I think he's a talented guy. But Van Horn didn't hide that he was upset that Wiggins wasn't able to use Wiggins this year. I think he would have started Wiggins in the regionals. Yeah. I think in the SEC tournament and the regionals, Wiggins would have been playing. I think he would have worked him into the lineup. But for whatever reason, the people that wasn't the doctor and wasn't Van Horn decided he wasn't going to pitch. Okay. So whether that's agents, parents, Wiggins himself, who knows? Okay. A lot of fans were upset that if he wasn't going to play, why were they letting him travel with the team and stuff like that, which that's stupid to get upset about. But no, I don't think there's a starting pitcher on this team. I mean, there's some good pitchers. I mean, Still Eaves and some of those young guys. I mean, they're good pitchers. I'm just not sure any of them are starters. They're more.
No, and that's you got to go out. You got to find you a Zach Root in the portal. I mean, if you can find 2 Zach Roots, that'd be even better. But I think that's got to be the pitching because it seemed like we had like 2 or 3 guys you could count on, and then everybody else came in with their gas cans. And as a St. Louis Cardinal fan, I know what it's like to have a bullpen come in with a gas can, setting everything on fire, and it was And the lack of offense was not our issue in the regionals. It just was not.
No, I mean you got to get some offense, in the portal also. I mean, you definitely got to do that. You feel good about Rudenbar in the future at catcher, so you feel like you're set there.
And I think Reese Dobbernet.
And I have high hopes for Brumbaugh. Okay, he's been on, he was the NIL guy for the Zone on the Buzz this year. And so it was kind of tragic because he lost his job and he wasn't getting to play, but he had to do a weekly interview because he was getting paid for it on there. But he's an impressive young man, and just talking to him, he was
JD Note it?
Yeah. He was good, man. He really did a good job. And, but I think he's a talented guy. I think, he was humbled by this year. Hopefully his confidence didn't hurt, and hopefully he's able to, to come back and be the guy that we expected him to be next year.
That head trash can be
if he stays around, though. He's an Oklahoma guy. Let's hope he doesn't enter the portal and go to Oklahoma, or something.
Why would anyone want to go to Oklahoma?
Well, I don't know. But yeah, Clint, I mean, it's just hopefully Van Horn's able to reload. Now, speaking of which, how about those Little Rock Trojans, baby?
Man, I'll tell you, I didn't watch a single inning of it, but I'm happy to see that they.
Yeah, I haven't really watched it much either.
And you know what? They've got a legit shot at going to the big show because
it's going to be them or Troy.
Yeah, it is. It's Cinderella is going to happen. Cinderella is going to be in Omaha.
A 3-seed or a 4-seed is going to come out of that super regional.
Yeah. So I mean, let's
or a former.
I'm here for it. The 1 and 2 are both out. UCLA is out.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech is out.
Yeah.
Arkansas would have hosted Oklahoma this weekend had we won.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. We would have been a super regional host site had we won. We did it. Congratulations, Kansas.
Yeah.
But you know what? Travis, I'm going to say this. I think Kansas was due. because we beat them in football at the Liberty Bowl like twice.
Yeah.
One of the worst officiated games I've ever seen. And I've seen some poorly officiated games a lot.
Yeah.
We beat them in basketball, I think, the last 2 times we played them. So I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
And they came to our regional a couple years ago, didn't win it. We won it. So you know what, Kansas? You got one. You got it.
Now, but once again, back to Little Rock. Congratulations to them. Curry, listen, Clint, he's going to get a big time offer this year. He's going to get a big time offer to coach somewhere else, I believe. He's going to get an offer that's going to be hard to turn down. I hope he stays at Little Rock. I like the guy. Seems like a stand-up guy, great coach. You know, he's part of the Van Horn coaching tree. You know, he coached under Van Horn. So, but I don't know, man. And what's interesting, Clint, is what I mentioned earlier. I heard him interviewed today. He's built this team. He's built this team off junior college guys.
Yeah.
And he talked about today how a lot of people overlook the junior college guys because of the portal. They want the guys coming from, especially on their level, they're wanting the guys that are transferring out of like Florida or Georgia or somewhere like that. And so there were big time recruits that maybe not getting the playing time they want. So they think they can, you know, bring them to their level. And he, you know, last year they had that great run at LSU and almost put the national champions, you know, gave the national champions all they wanted down there, right?
Yeah.
Well, his 2 best batters from last year's team are batting 6th and 7th on this team, Clint. Because the guys he's brought in, 2, I think he said I think 2 of which are junior college guys, are just better hitters. They're doing better. Those other guys are still having good years. It wasn't like they just disappeared or nothing. They're still having good years. It's just he's got these other guys that have come in and out, you know, just doing better. So they're batting higher in the lineup. So that's impressive.
Yeah.
Another thing that was interesting about them, I learned today, just listening to the buzz as I was driving. They had their play-by-play guy interviewed, and it was his first year, I think, ever doing play-by-play or whatever, young guy. But he said one of his, I don't think this guy does it with him all the time, but one of his color commentators is a young man that's from the Arkansas School for the Blind.
Oh, wow.
And he said he's phenomenal. He said the guy can tell if a ball is foul or fair just by hearing it. He said he comes in with stacks of paperwork in Braille, like every player. Like he knows details of every player. He's done his research. He's done his homework. He said he's amazing. He said he wishes he could do every game. For some reason, the guy doesn't do every game. But anyway.
Yeah, did I ever tell you about when I played for the Central Arkansas Rhinos about how we went out there and we hung out with the school for the deaf? They played them in 7-on-7. Of course, I didn't do anything because what am I to do 7-on-7?
Yeah.
Snap the football. I'm not even good at that.
Did they use the drum to tell them when to snap it?
I don't know what they did. I didn't pay attention, but apparently they beat the crap out of us.
Really?
Man, they beat anyway. I don't think it was, but them guys are used to going out there practicing 7-on-7. We've never, mostly pads, and we were a running football team. It's like I'm sure it had like me and Jermaine Brown and the offensive line had been there. It would have been a different story. Yeah. the big guys that have been there, but. Apparently,
I don't know. I
don't
know if they still do this, but I know used to. I did a tour of there when I was in college for an adaptive PE class I took, and they talked about they used to have like a big bass drum, like a band, like in a band has, the big bowl, and they would use that to tell them when to snap the ball and when to to start the play and when to stop it, and like the drummer would follow along on the line of scrimmage or whatever. But yeah, it's amazing the way that people can adapt and do things. Well, I mean, that's how Houston Nutt, his dad was the football coach there.
Right.
That's one of the way his him and his brother used to use sign language on the sideline. Him and Danny would communicate, on the sideline that way during football games. So anyway, but congratulations, Little Rock. Way to go. And let's hope they beat the men of Troy.
Now, Trav, I know we're going to lose all our listeners here because we're about to do a little bit of NBA talk. But before we do so, I hear you have a little bit of crow you want to eat.
I do.
So, how do you want your crow? Would you like it deep fried? Would you like it grilled? Or just
Clint,
eat it raw with a little hot sauce.
We talk about, we've talked a lot about basketball. We talked a lot about our Razorback basketball team, and there was some complaints we had. And there was one guy that I was hard on a whole lot. And I was hard on him partially, just let's be honest, partially because I think he's a very talented dude. He just didn't live up to it, right? And that was what was always frustrating to me. But I watched an interview that Trevin Brazil did as he was working out for the Sacramento Kings. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Okay. It's not very long, but he talks so highly of Arkansas. He talks so highly of Cal. He's also very humble in it. He talks about his weakness. Most of the time when people, Clint, if an NBA team was looking at you, which I'm sure, was close to happening, right?
Yeah. Like any day.
But if an NBA team's looking at you when reporters from that city or whatever is talking to you, you're probably going to talk about yourself like you're the next coming of Michael Jordan. That's what most people do, right? Yeah. You're definitely not going to tell them what your weaknesses are.
I'm going to definitely be selling myself.
Yeah, you're not going to tell them what your weaknesses are, right? Yeah. Well, he was willing to talk about, I need to work on this. I need to work on that. I'm, these things. But I think my other skill sets, he sold himself, but he was very open and honest. And, but one of the things he said that was eye-opening from that was, he said, I had offers to go to other schools. And he said, I had offers to go to other schools. He said, matter of fact, I was offered twice as much money from other schools. But I wasn't going to leave Arkansas and I wasn't going to leave Cal. He said, because Arkansas was where I was meant to be. They were too good to me. The fans were too good to me. Anyway, so I just got to say, Trevin Brazil, I'm sorry. I've been too hard on you, buddy.
He stayed for everybody else. He didn't stay for you, Travis, you jerk.
That's right, yeah. I know I was hard on you. I'm sorry. I do believe in you. I do root for you. And thanks for saying all those good things you said, man. But Clint, NBA finals they start Friday, right?
NBA, the Spurs here a year before everyone thought they'd be. So you got the Villanova Knicks taking on the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah. And the AI generated Wimby. That guy could only be created.
Oh my goodness!
By some sort of computer somewhere.
So I tell you what, it is. Sorry, Brant's gonna text me back. I ain't gonna read it. So anyway, no, but the Spurs, they really the last 3 years they've hit in the draft. You got Wemby, then you got Stephen Castle out of UConn, and then Ron Harper's son, Derek, which he looks like his dad with hair going up and down the court. But it makes me feel old that I remember some of these guys' dads playing.
That's right, yeah.
Like I remember his dad back in the day. It's like Ron Harper. I remember him with the Bulls. He was the starting point guard for that '98 Bulls team with Jordan and Pippen and Rodman. And I think it was.
Remember him playing for the Clippers before that.
The starting center. Longley was started at center, and then Rodman and Pippen were the front court, and Harper and Jordan were the the backcourt, but that was a good team. So, Trav, who do you got? Do you have you think the Knicks are going to win the first one since '77, or you think the Spurs are going
to? Here's the deal, Clint. I'm becoming a Brunson fan, so I'm going to root for the Knicks. However, if I was a betting man, I would bet on the Spurs.
So, let me ask you this, Trav, because I think the Knicks are obviously playing for New York, and I think the Spurs are playing to grow the legacy.
Yeah.
So, where would you rank the Spurs in NBA organizations if they go on if they win the NBA title?
Oh, they're not Boston, LA yet.
I put them number 3, solid.
But I think you gotta, especially the consistency over time, doing it with different players. Mm-hmm. I mean, because you got the Tim Duncan era, you got the, before that, before he got there, David Robinson, but I mean, and now they're doing it again. I mean, they've been this consistent.
Seeing you had the Showtime Lakers, and then you had Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah.
Then you had Kobe and Paul. So you had like 3.
Yeah.
Three different. And then the Celtics.
And then you got the Celtics with Russell, with Bird, with the Paul Pierce and them.
And then Tatum. So you've had 4 different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're literally and Wemby. This group is gonna win one.
And the thing is, you could argue. I mean, the Bulls would be the only other team you'd put up there, probably with them, but they just don't have the longevity. I mean, they did it with just Jordan. The Bulls.
They did it with Jordan, but they did it with Jordan and Pippen, but 2 different times. You got pre-Rodman, post-Rodman.
I mean, it's hard to argue with the 6. But however, I just it'd be impressive. It'd be impressive for sure. So it'll be fun. Now,
yeah, and I'm with you. I'm going to be pulling for the Knicks. But if I'm having to reach out my hard-earned money, and I live 2 hours from San Antonio, so you figure I'd want to pull for San Antonio.
Yeah.
But I'd be honest with you, I just enjoy looking at the disappointment on everyone's faces when they lose.
Yeah. Now, Clint, that's our NBA talk for the week.
There you go. You're welcome, people.
Now, how about a little NFL talk?
What?
Because my Brownies were talked about a little bit yesterday.
Travis, I know a lot of people were disappointed. I would have taken that deal.
Here's the deal. As a Browns fan, as a long-time Browns fan, do I hate to see Myles Garrett go? Yes. Would I love to see him retire as a Brown? Of course. But here's the deal, folks. The Browns wasn't winning with him. And it was a good business decision. Now, I like what they got for him. They got a solid young guy to replace him. Okay, he's no Myles Garrett, but he's a solid defensive end. Okay, that's gonna be a great, So they did well there. Plus, they got a first rounder, a second rounder, and a third rounder. Like, when you're getting that good of a defensive end in return for him, I expected them to get at least one first rounder with it, but I expected the other 2 picks to be like 5th, 6th, 7th rounder. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, to me, even though they're in consecutive years and the Rams are going to be good, dude, how scary. Have you heard the talk today about Aaron Donald?
Yep. I heard he's been staying in shape and that he may come back just play with Myles Garrett.
There's videos of him, Clint, working out with 150-pound dumbbells still, like recently. And the Rams already have a stud team. I mean, they just have players up and down their roster that are good. They're already awesome. You bring Donald back and Garrett, and you're going to tell them, hey, you know what? You're not going to have to play that many plays. Like we're gonna be able to rotate you out because we got other guys on this lineup that we can rotate you out on. So we're gonna have you in there fresh, terrorizing offenses. That's scary, Clint. That's big time scary.
So I like I'm gonna clean up the language. I'm liking the Jim of the Rams strategy. The screw them picks.
Yeah.
But okay, you like I'm gonna keep this pick in 4 or 5 years. Maybe I've got something here, but then on the other hand, I've got Myles Garrett.
And
I kind of like the Cowboys trading Micah Parsons, getting 2 first-round picks for him. Like, look, I can get this from both sides. Like, if I can't keep him, might as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was good for both teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, Clint. How the crap are they doing this when they're paying their quarterback $50 million next year?
Fuzzy math, Travis. Fuzzy math.
It's got to ban. I want their accountant.
Yeah. I've been looking for an accountant that's not scared of prison. So.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, that's like, how is that happening? Because Stafford's getting $50 million next year, and then you're still able to put, you got Devontae Adams still on the team. You still got some of the best tight ends in the league on the team.
You got Bo Limmer, Cam Curl, so we got a couple of Razorbacks.
That's right. You got those guys. Yeah, Cam Curl is awesome for that team. I mean,
seeing Bo, goes back to what Sam Pittman said, just being able to snap the football. He's like their 6th lineman. He's their interior guy. Plays center for him, plays guard for him.
Yeah.
Being able to do it all helps you out.
Right. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun NFL year, especially sadly, they're in LA and their fans are terrible. But
got a cool stadium.
They do have a cool stadium, and they got a great team. And so, we'll see what happens. And like I said, I have hope for my Browns. I think Andrew Berry, I think Stefanski was part of the problem. And I think Andrew Berry's, they had a good draft the last couple years. And then I think Berry's actually.
Well, and I think if nothing else, Monken's going to have an offense that fits his quarterback.
Exactly.
Not where Stefanski tried to.
Whoever that quarterback is.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's Trav, we made it to another one.
Made it to another one, baby. Made it to another one. Look, we'll next week we're gonna have a special episode. We got one of Clint's former teammates and a big time author.
Yeah,
big time author.
Big time author. Yeah.
So we
tell stories about glove compartments full of ketchup, amongst other things.
That's right. It's an episode we've already done, and because we needed that, because your boys are going to be on a boys trip, aren't we, Clint?
Yep, vacation, going to beautiful, beautiful Springfield, Missouri, to hang out with none other than Robert Branscombe and Wesley Rowland.
And going to probably play some bad golf.
Play some very bad golf.
So,
hey, Robert, say bye to the people.
See y'all later. Hey, like, share, subscribe, do all those things.
Thanks, Robert.
That a kid, Robert.
Bye, everybody.
See everybody. Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe.
Robert. He's smart.
There you go.
Listen to him.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no more till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Oh, I sweat when I work. My